Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl D of Life with D, and we're back with another video. So I've been showing you guys a lot about how I organize my life using bullet journals and Notion, but I wanted to show you a little bit more about how I physically organize spaces. So today I'm going to be showing you how I organize this cabinet area that is behind me. A couple of months ago, I did the kind of big clean out of this area, like pulling everything out and organizing it and kind of getting a really good initial setup going. But now it's been a couple of months and things have kind of gotten out of place again. So I'm gonna have to go back through this cabinet and reorganize everything. It's gonna be a lot quicker than it was the first time, but I still thought it would be really helpful for you guys to see my process and kind of what it looks like. So stick around if you wanna see how I'm going to maintain this space that I have already created. So the first thing that I'm gonna show you guys is how this cabinet space currently looks and kind of my thought process as far as organizing this space. All right, so when you first open up this cabinet, you can see that I definitely have kind of an organizational theme going as far as like having cans up here, this being more so for like medicine, and you can see like teas and stuff in the back, and then this being kind of like an excess product area plus like our, and then on this side, this is the side that's more so like because it's a lot of stuff going on up here that should not be going on up here. And then we have kind of like a catch-all cabinet right here, so definitely want to clean that out. And then we have lunch boxes and trash bags down here. This area up here actually is pretty well organized, and so I won't be doing this area today. And then on this side, once again, just things kind of exploding out at us, so this is also an area that I will be cleaning up today. So as kind of a wide shot of what's going on here, this is what the cabinet looks like before. All right guys, so now that you have seen our full current pantry setup, I'm going to pull everything out because that is the first step in organizing anything, is that you have to get everything visible. That way you can really see what's going on and start organizing from there.
Ryan Little.
Alright guys, so now we have emptied out the cabinets, and so I'm going to show you guys what the cabinets look like now, as well as everything that I was able to pull out of the cabinets. Alright, so these are our cabinets now. I won't be doing anything with those 3 shelves that are right there. I always do that with those 3 shelves that are right there because they're already pretty well organized and there's nothing else I can do. But I did empty out the second from the top shelf on the right hand side, and then everything else pretty much down. Now I did not empty out those 2 big things because I'm not getting rid of either one of those at the bottom. And I also didn't empty out our vitamins and tea area because that's something very specific that I'm doing for that area. And so I did not want to have that all in with all the other stuff that I've already pulled out. And then as far as the lunch boxes and trash bags, because I've already gone through the lunch boxes, very similar to the cups and mugs up there, there's pretty much nothing else that I can throw out or do with the quantity of items that we have there. So both of those things are going to be left. And so this is kind of what we're looking at now with our pantry area. And then this is all of the things that came out of the pantry area that I will now sit down and try to condense, so that way I can prepare to put it back into our pantry area. First thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna actually go back to our empty cabinet and look at everything that's going on and see where do we kind of want to place things. We come up with an idea or a concept for how we want this area to look. Like I said, I've already done this before since I did it over the summer, and so I won't be going back to look at the pantry to see how I would like to set things out. But if I hadn't done this in the summer, that would be the first step that I would do. Since I've already done that though, the first thing that I'm going to do is go through and figure out, okay, which cabinet am I going to put things back into first? And that'll be the first area that I look to figure out, okay, which products are going to go back into this area. So when we're looking at our products, we need to see, okay, how much of something do we have? Because even in pulling things out, I was like, okay, we have an awful lot of, for example, potato spuds. That can be consolidated because we don't need 2 half full boxes of potato spuds when we can have 1 container. Another thing that we'll do during this time is also check the expiration dates, because there's no need for us to put anything back into the cabinet that's already expired. All right, so I've decided that I'm going to start working on the top right cabinet first. And by looking back at the plan that I made when I first organized the space, that is boxed items, which include things like cereal and pasta. The only exceptions to boxed items going in this area are boxed items that are still closed, because I have a designated area for boxed items that have not been opened, and also some of the breakfast items that are in boxes, so like oatmeal, cream of wheat, like those kinds of things. For some reason, we as a family have just always kept them separate, so it makes sense for me to continue along that path, because that's something that actually makes sense in our family. So now I'm going to go through and check the dates on things and also consolidate. For the rare occasions where I do put things into glass containers, what I like to do is cut out the expiration date and the instructions, because you never want to keep food that is expired, and there is a good chance that you will want to reference the directions when you don't have them anymore. So it's just easier to put them there even if you never ever use them. Another thing that also goes on that top shelf for us is our bread, so I'm gonna go ahead and put our bread over there as well. So even just doing that was able to clear up a lot of counter space. The next area that I'm gonna work on is the top left side, so I'm pretty much just gonna work my way down. And so for us, that looks like breakfast foods that we have to like make, as well as like any sugars and rice, like those kinds of things. I realize this may not make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but this really works well in my household, and so as I keep saying, that is why I am continuing to kind of organize in this way. All right, now that I have most of the things back on that shelf, the next shelf I'm gonna work on is the first pull-out drawer that we have, which is on the right-hand side. And so that drawer is designated to be a place where we keep cans, but the kind of rule with that drawer is that there should only be 1 can of each item in there unless we have extra room. In this tray, we also keep all of like our little mixes, so I'm gonna go ahead and put those up there. With the mixes, I'm not as strict about there only being able to be 1 up there, just because if we don't keep them in that tray, it's so easy for these to get like lost or fall behind something else. So it just makes sense to keep all of them kind of together in that tray. And at this time, when the counter is becoming more clear and you realize, oh, there's something that I should have put away in another shelf that I have already finished with, well, thought I finished with, definitely feel free to go ahead and put away those items now that you can actually see them as the counter continues to clear up. So based off the way this is going for me, the next area that I'm actually going to tackle is putting away the extras, because now I'm seeing we have so many extras. I use that word kind of lightly, because is it really extra? No, it's all going to be used eventually. But that's going to be my next area that I tackle, because it seems like we just have so much of that, and it's getting kind of hard for me to be able to see the items that need to go in other places, because I'm looking at all of these kind of duplicates that are sitting on the counter taking up some space right now. All right guys, so my camera died, and so I had to stop. We are back several hours later now to finish. I still have a couple items that I was in the middle of putting away when my camera died, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish up putting away like those last few items before I move on to the next shelf that I'm going to work on organizing. Alright, so as you can see, most of the counter is clear. The last thing that I have to organize is our like to-go area. So for us, that looks like packages of utensils, straws, napkins, like those kinds of things. Oh, and also sauce, like random condiment packets that you get from different restaurants. So those kinds of things can get out of hand very, very quickly, and it is imperative that I kind of get us back on track with that. So that's the next area that I'm going to focus on and work on. I think we're about done. The countertop is actually completely empty, and so everything that was once in the cabinets is basically back in. So let's look at the results. So now this is what our cabinet space is looking like. It's a lot more organized and just clear cut. You can pretty much see things more that you couldn't always see before. As you see, some of the areas still have a lot of things in them because I honestly didn't get rid of much, but you definitely can see everything a little bit better, and that's really what the goal of this was. And then just so you guys can see, this was the only stuff that I really got rid of. And so, I mean, minus the shoe shiner and the tape, guys, obviously. But this is the only things that I really got rid of, just some of the stuff on the table. But it seems like a lot different now of a space since we were able to organize some things and kind of really focus on being able to see the items in the cabinet instead. All right, guys, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed me cleaning and organizing this whole shelf space. I guess I should have kept it open for that. Pretend it's open. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Please like this video if you enjoyed watching me organize or enjoyed just organizing kind of in general. Comment anything down below. You guys know I love to chat with you guys, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.